What's up, everybody? This is Matt Kim from IGN, and we're here at BlizzCon 23 with Holly Longdale and John Hyde from the Warcraft team. Hello.
Hello.
Good show so far?
Hey, absolutely. Yeah.
MCU is just shorthand for multiverse.
I like going in with a nice, friendly hello. You know.
It works.
Yeah,
And we answered in unison. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fun. We have fun here. But let's.
I think they mean how Marvel announces a year of movies at a time. MCU because it's a saga. I'm pretty sure that's not even their words. It's IGN's words. Not really anything to worry about. Okay. Let's listen to what they have to say.
IGN readers are super excited that we got not one, not two, but 3 World of Warcraft expansion announced all at once.
Yeah.
Why are people not, and I guess he's going to ask this and clarify this, but how do people not understand, like, instantly that it is not 3 full expansions? Like, how are people not getting that? Like, this is not, they did not announce 3 full fucking expansions. That is not what they did.
He doesn't know.
Like, but people keep acting like they announced Warlords, Legion, and BFA all at the same time. Like, that's not what just happened.
Streamer lacks critical information.
I'd love to learn more about the process of just being like, you know what, let's do it. Let's announce 3 expansions.
It's not like that. It's like, we're going to announce a saga that is 3 shorter expansions that all come together for a story arc. It is not 3 full-size expansions.
Sure, Jan.
When Chris Metzen came and returned to us and we started that process, this bubbling up of this passion around the 20th anniversary is almost upon us. It's time to change the conversation, make some big bets. Let's take World of Warcraft in a direction that we may not have imagined in the past. And you throw something like that at someone like Chris Metzen and the team, and he came back to both of us with this idea that, you've seen Chris Metzen. When he starts sharing an idea, and I'm an idea fairy.
I'm all for any old content reusing old assets. Okay, let me tell you something. It's one of the things that Final Fantasy XIV does the best. And by that, I mean to say, like, they take you back to old areas all the time. Like, cities and zones are like always relevant. You don't go through a zone and then like forget about it forever after that. Like, there's some zones that you come through, but you're pretty much, there's always a reason to like return back to the zone, whether it's for like a tribe quest, or whether it's for like hunting a world boss, or like rare spawns, or you're on a hunt train, or whatever. Like, XIV reuses old gear and assets all the time, and I think for the most part it's fine. Cypher, thank you so much for the 28 months. So I do think, like, in WoW, take us to Silver Moon, take us to, I mean, that one quest line that we got in BFA where we got to go to the Windspire, Windrunner Spire or something like that. I almost said Bladespire Citadel. Like, that was a great reusing of assets. Like, we went back to a place that was meaningful to Sylvanas, meaningful to the Windrunner sisters as a whole. It fit the narrative. It was cool. I wish they would do more stuff like that, because they have a beautiful, open, sprawling world that some areas don't look as good as newer areas. I get that. But, we have the technology, So yeah, I think that reusing assets is fine as long as it's done tastefully, and it's because we're going back to the same place, right? If they make a new area with reusing the same assets, that's different than going back to, I don't even really call it reusing assets. It's called just taking advantage of your world that you built. It's not even reuse of assets. Like, if you want to put it that way, then technically every single fucking game reuses assets more than likely. But it's not. It's like, it's the world over there. Like, you expect me to not use the assets that make up the ground and the mountains and the trees? Like, yeah, guess what? It's like that. So it's kind of a weird thing. They were reusing assets a fuck ton more than years ago. Just think of the open dungeons they designed by actually just shaping the landscape for it to be dungeon ready from the get-go. They just take the R and make it instance, and that's completely fine with me. I'm going to be honest with you. Wow, so you're telling me that the dungeon you go through is like an actual place? Wow, what a concept. There's nothing wrong with that. I have no qualms with that whatsoever. I don't have any issues with that. Not every single dungeon, in my opinion, has to be a complete brand new experience, completely different from anything you see in the world. No, sometimes these things are happening in the open world. I mean, think about like like the narrative power of that. Like, we're not attacking they're just attacking inside the mountain now. Like, no, they're attacking our fucking village, and like, you need to come and save our village. Like, I'm cool with that. I think that's fine.
I love big ideas, so does John. And there was just no way to not get behind this idea that it's an incredible epic story, and we wouldn't be doing it justice if we tried to do it in one expansion. And then we were talking about 2 expansions, and we're like, yeah, it's
Don't
still,
do it.
There's a lot.
I wish that they had thought about these things when they were looking at themes like Nazjatar, at Neolotha. Like, these are things that probably should have been separated by expansions, not by patches.
Lot more room to grow this tale, and that's how it became 3. And it did start from this essence of, we want everyone to be able to enjoy World of Warcraft. And
imagine
really,
like Draenor, like alternate Draenor in like 2 expansions. I mean, I think, I don't know. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I don't know. I feel like it gives you more of it. For years, I imagined Argus as an expansion. Yeah, and then it was patch 7.3. Yeah, that was kind of wild.
take us on a journey. And part of that too is, when we say multiple expansions, the other factor in this is we want to do them faster so that you will get this.
They need to add a MOBA PvP mode that's literally free content. Yeah, we watched a video from Venruki about that yesterday, and what they need to do is they need to give you template character tournament worlds. That's like the only way, in my opinion, that that's ever going to happen. You're never going to go around the leveling. You are never going to go around the gearing. You are never getting around that. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen in the base game. They will not do that. So, to me, the only solution is to give max level character, template, no add-on, like PvP realms, where like that's where people can focus their PvP and hone in on that stuff. Because according to Venruki, there's way too much add-ons and stuff to learn. There's too many buttons. There's way too much complexity to it as a whole. And, I get this idea of MOBA PvP mode. I get it from Crystalline Conflict from Final Fantasy XIV. In that, they take your class and they dumb it down to like 7 abilities. And like, that's it. So, and that's fine. And it's still fun to play. It's just a very simplified version of your job. And it sounds like that is kind of what some people are wanting is, I want it more simple. I want it more accessible. I want it drop in, drop out when I want to. I don't want to have to invest weeks of my time to be able to feel like I have the necessary things to do the thing now. And that's a very legitimate concern. Very, like, I would never, ever try to take that concern away from people who feel that way because I think it's a completely legitimate concern. I just don't know how that can happen unless they do separate realms that literally restrict you from using things like add-ons, or if they add a PvP game mode that effectively does the same thing, where when you queue into it as a Affliction Warlock, you go in as Affliction, and your spells get dumbed down to what your Affliction PvP stuff is, and you do PvP, and then when you leave, it goes back to your normal bars. That's exactly what it does in Final Fantasy. And it is very drop-in, get in there quickly, play whatever you want, get out, that type of thing. They can let you play as Sylvanas and shit. WoW has tons of hero characters. Do you guys remember Heroes of the Storm? Like, it literally was a game. Like, they tried to launch an entire game that is what you're asking for, and it failed. Let's not forget that. Exactly, they can do it in WoW. Why would they do it in WoW? They already built a completely separate game in a separate engine with the same characters in WoW, and it failed. I'm telling you, putting it in WoW does not just make it good. It doesn't just make it successful. I don't think so. It failed because it was incomprehensible. Was it too complex, you think? Like people asking for a Warcraft movie recently? Yeah, like as if we haven't had one. I thought HOTS just like didn't have the player base. Like I thought that the game just didn't have. It failed because it had objectives and people just wanted to brawl. It didn't have like a brawl mode. See, that's like a completely different, like they just fucked that up, Yes, and WoW already has a player base that doesn't need to be transferred. No, you're right. And I think that, like I'm saying, I don't know, bro. Like, do you really think that everyone wants to? I don't know. I think that like these are very specific ideas, and I'm not against them. I just think that like sweeping ideas, like, oh, let's just all play hero characters like Arthas and Sylvanas and Jaina. Like, I don't know that everyone would like that. A lot of people want to play as their character, you know. But and then again, like character attachment in this game is not the same as it is in 14. So I have a little bit of a different mindset. Like, I love my 14 character. My 14 character like is me, and the experiences of my 14 character are my experiences, and the people that my 14 character cares about, I care about. And there's a very deep connection that exists there where that does not exist in World of Warcraft. I'm not connected to my character in any capacity like I am in 14. But that's because the narrative in this game doesn't really make the game about your character, and it doesn't really involve you that much. It's mostly about, like we were talking about, what you're seeing other people do. All maps have a mechanic, do this, collect this, and if you do, you gain massive bonus. Of course, you can fight all the time, but objectives are really important, like too much. Yeah, to the point where it made like the combat, it almost sounds like it was better to avoid combat when you can and push objectives than it is to actually like fight and get pushes on lanes and stuff like that. That sounds really fucking annoying. 14 also lets you do more on your character. The only reason for alts is for alt's sake. That's true. What would you guys think? Like, do you guys think it's a... Let me ask you something. I want you to like think about this before you just type your answer in the chat, okay? Like, please think about it for a second and think about if it's something that you would want. Now, they're never going to do this. They're not going to do this. But in Final Fantasy, you can play every class on one character. So if I wanted to go from a priest to a paladin, I can do that. Completely possible. Would you guys like that in World of Warcraft? I mean, do you think the idea of having all your jobs tied to, all your classes tied to one character, you don't have to level them separately, you don't have to gear them separately, you don't have to do any of that separately. You have to gear separately in a sense, but like, let's say if you level, you level Evoker to like level 70, and you're like, I fucking hate this, then you could theoretically start a new job on the same character and level it up without having to make a new character. For me, I think I would love that, and I love it in RuneScape as well. WoW has more fun fantasy races IMO. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Oh, you mean being able to have multiple race characters, like so to have like a troll and then to have like an orc. You wouldn't want to just like be a troll and then like everything you play is on your troll. You'd see Tauren Demon Hunter then, though? Do you guys really... I mean, do you think that class-race combinations are a good thing for the game? Do you think class-race restrictions are good for the game? That's an interesting take. I think it's not. I think you should be able to play whatever race you want with whatever class you want. So I don't really give a shit about the, oh, you'd see a Demon Hunter Tauren. I don't give a fuck. So? Let someone be a cow. Like, I just think it's... I was just curious. I'm not going to say that it should be one way or the other, because I think both have positives. I do. I think being able to go like, I'm going to get on my troll character, and like your troll maybe has like a totally different like transmog that like goes with troll. Maybe it's got like bones and like tribal stuff, and then like maybe you get on your blood elf and it's very like ornate and very like regal. I think there's a lot of value there. That's a good point. And I think how your character's looks align with your transmog and your class, I think that all makes sense. I don't know, Tauren DH would be silly. Yeah, people thought pandas were silly and quit the game over it, so who gives a fuck? I don't know. I don't know. I don't mind race class restrictions. I think the bigger issue are racials, which have a bigger forcing impact on race choice. Yeah, I think FF14 technically has racials, but they're like pretty much completely negligible.
Is that doubly unlucky, or does the misfortune cancel out? Oh, and hi Pyro.
Thanks, thank you for the 26-month resubs as a tier 3, no less. Holy fuck. Thanks so much, bro. No, I don't think it's unlucky. I think it's a double negative, right? It's a double negative, right? Isn't Volpera even bigger disgrace than pandas? Let me tell you guys something. No one's more embarrassed about things in World of Warcraft than World of Warcraft players. You want to know something? People that play Final Fantasy, for the most part, do not give a fuck. Literally a fuck about the races in this game. Most of them don't even know what they are. Like, the cringe takes about Vulpera Pandaren, it's like, dude, you guys are so fucking weird. It's so weird, bro. I don't know. I don't know, dude. The average player doesn't care in WoW. The cringe weirdos who care are fringe. I agree. It'd be sick to have the ability to change class at will, and I think every class should be able to be every race. I think class race restrictions should go away. And I think racials are too powerful. Here's the deal, guys. If you think racials are one of the reasons why they couldn't get rid of that, then racials are too powerful. That's the way I feel. I mean, if that is the barrier, then they're too powerful. Simple as that. If they weren't so powerful, it wouldn't fucking matter. Racials are unbalanced as fuck. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. They're too powerful, but some of them are also fun. Well, I guess that's the question, is like, what's more fun? Having racials that might restrict you from having all the variety that you could have, or maybe having not as impactful racials and being able to play with whatever variety of class and race you want. For me, that's an easy answer, but that's not true for everyone. Anyway, thanks for entertaining the question. I was just curious if you guys would think that having your classes shared across your character would be ideal, or if you prefer to have the identity of different characters. And it seems like it's very much like a 50-50. Seems like there's people, and probably people that play Final Fantasy XIV, that say, I love having it all in one character. Fucking yeah, let's send it, let's go. I'm behind that as well, especially because RuneScape is the same. I honestly think there's no difference. I completely disagree with that, but yeah, I think you should. I think that if you haven't experienced the leveling of Final Fantasy XIV, that you can't say that. I have every job at level 90 on Final Fantasy XIV. I've leveled every alt that I can level, and I completely disagree with that. It's not really the same, but they both have their own positives and negatives. So I'm not saying that Final Fantasy XIV's is better. I'm just saying it's definitely not the same.
So that you will get this incredible tale in a way you would expect from World of Warcraft, with everything you expect in an expansion. But we want to get you there with these epic moments faster. And, you know, we have some of the inside scoop. What is coming is just, it's incredible. And the team is just rallied around it. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it naturally, the story really expressed itself best in three parts. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, the team had already been planning on, we want to go into the center of Azeroth. We want to go under the ground, which at first we got like underground, you know, yeah. I don't know if we want to do, you know, that much time just digging in tunnels. And they're like,
yeah, that kind of, I hate to say this, but I hate that that's his response. Like, I don't know if we want to, like, bro, if that's where your narrative needs to take you, shut the fuck up and do it. I don't really like that answer. Oh, I don't really know if we want to do that. Like, no, if that's where your narrative takes you, you do it.
Go into the center of Azeroth. We want to go under the ground, which at first
you don't just avoid it because it's technically difficult. You fucking do it. You're Blizzard. Aren't you supposed to like be an industry leader? So like do it.
We got like underground,
which they are. And so they did it. I'm not trying to say they're not, but it's like, come on, man.
You know, yeah. I don't know if we want to do, you know, that much time just digging in tunnels. And they're like, no, this is going to be expansive. We're going to have these huge...
Same bullshit answer that prevented us from getting a proper Nazjatar expansion. Yeah, people won't like that underwater. Yeah. That's why we get an outdoor zone in a cave. Yeah, no shit.
Caverns. And you know, we actually play around with it in Dragonflight, you know, just showing you can fly in a cave, you know. So, of course, we can do big things inside
Activision,
the center of the Earth, or center of Azeroth.
Yeah, maybe the attitude was like that because it was like, we don't have the time, the funds, like they're not gonna approve that. Like we don't have the. Yeah, it almost kind of sounds like maybe it could be that.
And I think that part was already kind of in place, and Chris looked at it, it's like, okay, this is cool. We'll start from there, and then
it's exactly
as we explore that, we uncover the machinations of Xel'Atath, you know, and that.
So Nazjatar would have been like the underwater zone in Kata? No. No, Nazjatar just would have been an actual city.
Kind of naturally led to the...
Nazjatar is a city, for the record. Nazjatar is the city of the fucking Naga. So, and keep in mind, it replaced the most grand city ever built in the history of Azeroth, Zinishari. So the fact that they replaced it with what we got in Nazjatar is unacceptable.
Battle with the Void. Well, we're best to have conflict with the Void than the Sunwell. So that kind of moved.
They also gave it to us in a patch, and then they followed it up with Neolotha in a patch. So, like, I don't know what I was expecting.
To the next chapter. And then finally, the thing that I think we've all been wondering about for the last 20 years is all the stuff, as Chris said, that the Titans have left behind.
No, we haven't all been wondering about that, John Haidt. In fact, very few people have actually been wondering about that for the last 20 years. Such a few amount of people that you have to have people like me try to come out and convince people that we should be looking at the Titans more because they did such a terrible job of illustrating the plot of the Titans up until this point that most people didn't realize it was happening. So I'm sorry, but I don't agree with this, oh, everyone's been thinking about it for 20 years. That's completely untrue. People never fucking think about the Titans. In fact, the old gods, the void lords, the light lords, all that fucking dumb bullshit gets brought up 10 times more than the Titans. So this fucking sentiment that people have been wondering about it for 20 years is bullshit. Some of us have, but the fucking mass audience has not.
You know, the weird artifacts, the mysterious voices, the apparitions that appear. And this is a culmination of that, you know, pulling those threads together and explaining.
That's not fair. I believe the Titans have always been in the background looming. Yeah, so do I. That doesn't mean that that's what all the players were thinking. When people talk about World of Warcraft's story, you think they bring up the Titans? You really think so? No. Motherfuckers bring up the Legion. They bring up the Lich King. They bring up Deathwing. That's what people talk about when they think about the overarching narrative of WoW. They don't think about the Titans. The fuck? Most people don't, which is why people had to be literally convinced. If that wasn't the case, then that wouldn't have been happening. Not at every waking moment, but it's an integral part of WoW's narrative. We're arguing semantics at this point, which I think is really not productive. So I'm going to continue this video. By the way, Muse, thank you very much. Welcome, and thanks so much for the sub. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Garden Sprout. They just bring up the raid end boss and call it a day.
What this has all been about.
Exactly. Like, what is it about? Yeah, the Titans are there, but like, there has not been an exploration in, I'm sorry, they act like they've framed the narrative that way, like clearly, when they definitely did not. I'm sorry, I just won't support that idea. That's absolutely not the fucking case.
Apparitions that appear, and this is a culmination of that, you know, pulling those threads together and explaining a lot of what this has all been about.
When
Azeroth, our planet, creation, the fate of the universe.
Chris was up on stage and he announced the big reveal about the 3 expansions and the World Soul Saga. I got strong Kevin Feige at Comic-Con vibe when he reveals a new phase in the MCU. Do you think that's an apt comparison where he reveals not just Captain?
We actually did kind of talk about it as reference because for us it was, we felt we needed to really establish with our players, like, yes, and for the story, and we are committed to it. But and one thing I want to say, and it's important for everyone to know, that you can jump in. You don't have to start with War Within. If you, for whatever reason, you somehow miss it next year, please don't. But if you do, you can jump in, you know, with Midnight, or you can even come in at the end and with The Last Titan. We're telling these as distinct pieces, but they all tie together in this overarching story.
So you probably should start at The War Within. Okay, they're individual experiences, but they tell an overarching narrative, so you can jump in the middle or the end. No. Do the fucking arc. What? Don't do that.
And we wanted players
play them.
To know, you know, we're committed. We're going to do this thing, and we'd like for them to join us on this journey.
And beneath that, you know, when we talk about the 20th anniversary, this idea...
It's like Kitase and Nomura saying you can start with Rebirth. Why even say it? Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Of, you know, John mentioned threads. Part of that is we've continually moved forward. There's a lot of stories that we get to wrap up and places we get to visit and characters we get to visit with the 20th anniversary. With a tale like this team has never planned anything this far in advance. So it's bringing a lot of detail, a lot of incredible passion into how we deliver on this 20 years of World of Warcraft and really paying homage to our past and creating.
It's called Hallowfall. Honor as holy. Saint or holy person. Hallowfall. A holy entity.
A new beginning, and it's just The team is like effervescent at this point, you know, looking.
That crystal turning void is crazy. Sounds to me like a Naru. Seems pretty standard to me. That's what I think is inside there. A Naru.
Because we know where we're
Naru do that.
going for a good period.
Especially when they get worshipped or when mortals interfere. So the more that these Arathi zealots draw upon the power of that thing in the sky, the faster it's going to go void.
Of time, and to be able to lean into it and create the threads between to effort.
I think the key takeaway is what she just said a second ago. That's the main thing.
On this 20 years of World of Warcraft and really paying homage to our past and creating a new beginning. And it's just, the team is like effervescent at this point, you know, looking, because we know where we're going for a good period of time, and to be able to lean into it and create the threads between, to your point, when we talk about something like, you know, the MCU, you can see all the threads between them. And that's, in essence, you know, we'll be building quite a bit of that as well.
Yeah, and that's what WoW has like lacked for a long time, is that thread connecting them all together. And so what she said there is really important for them to be able to have the confidence in the narrative that's being told in order to put it together cohesively in multiple, entries, is something that they haven't been able to do, which is jarring to even think that a game studio hasn't been able to do that. Like, we wonder why these expansions seem like random disjointed attempts at making something cool for an expansion, and this is why, you know? I feel like WoW's desperately trying to copy 14 and get some kind of story culmination that ties it all together. I feel like that is a shit take. I think it has nothing to do with 14, in my opinion. I don't like that take at all. I agree that I hope that they can pull it off, but I don't like that they're just trying to copy 14. That's just not true. The narrative is absolutely nothing. It's just, we're gonna have to move on. I cannot entertain that idea.
Right, and that is something I'm curious about how announcing 3 interconnected expansions like this impacts development for the team.
It's not even 14, it's just like normal storytelling. Yeah, just ending the story, you know? I only said that because they started saying culmination of 20 years after Endwalker. Seems like every expansion they repeat it. Yeah.
Serve the players in this way. So it's a journey that we're on. War Within is...
People are not going to stop comparing 14 and WoW. You're hopeless to even fucking wish that. It's not going to happen. It's normal, okay? And it's fine. Okay? You know?
Impacts development.
It's just... doesn't mean I'm going to agree with it.
You know, we'll be building quite a bit of that as well.
Not everyone has to agree.
Right. And that is something I'm curious about
we did,
how announcing 3 interconnected expansions like this impacts development for the team.
We've been evolving in order to serve the players in this way. So it's a journey that we're on.
It's part of why the comparison earlier, like, it's a comparison for thought. It's like food for thought. But it's like what we were talking about earlier about, like, having all the jobs as one character in Final Fantasy XIV. Like, you can make that comparison, sure. I think they're 100% trying to copy 14. I remember when they announced Endwalker and WoW suddenly started talking about their 20-year story. I think then they didn't have a plan for it. I think it's bad. It's what Blizzard does and they improve their game, which is good for players. I don't think it's bad. It's what Blizzard does and they improve their game. I'm sorry. Moving on.
War Within has been in development for some time. We're also already working on the next one, on Midnight. And we've grown our team to support it. And not only that, we've built, essentially, we're building the foundation of how to work with 2...
I think that, unfortunately, the truth is that there is a narrative that exists. Like, how do I put this? In World of Warcraft, there is a narrative that is happening. Now, whether or not that narrative is being directly presented to you is different, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that you guys acting like they just pulled this 20-year story thing out of their ass is complete bullshit and not fair, because they have been developing this universe since the first Warcraft game, which has been a long fucking time. So I just don't like this like premise that they just came up with it out of nowhere. It's literally what my hundreds of videos have been about, was trying to get you to realize what they had happening in the background. And guess what? Now that they've finally decided to actually put it in front of you, people are acting like it's a new thing. Guess what? It's not. It's just not. It's not. It's not.
Expansions being created at the same time, and at the same time we also created a live team. And that live team is
I'm getting too worked up. I'm getting too worked up about this. It's not that important. Let's just move on.
filling the world in our 8-week patch cadence with the content in between that is sort of the novelty and the whimsy and the lightness of WoW that the audiences that, the expansion teams will continue to focus on, our seasons, etc. And they're filling in our holidays and turbulent time ways and more activities for players to do so that we're crossing all of the different ways people play. So we're building this foundation for how we can have this, basically a staggered approach. Although teams are going to be helping each other along the way because there are moments where we can.
Or if you got an Invincible that played Arthas or something, that'd be cool.
Element on WoW is very fluid and it moves back and forth, but we have a lot of really incredible resources now focused on really advanced production methodology as well. And so we're going through this learning phase of figuring out how to do all this at the same time because we're absolutely committed to it.
I think I
would love mount music in WoW. That's all I'm trying to say. I just would love to see that. It's a really cool feature.
So that we're crossing all of the different ways people play. So we're building this foundation for how we can have this, a staggered approach. Although teams are going to be helping each other along the way because there are moments where we can. The development on WoW is very fluid and it moves back and forth, but we have a lot of really incredible resources now focused on really advanced our production methodology as well. And so we're going through this learning phase of figuring out how to do all this at the same time.
Oh, I'm too busy arguing with chat to actually react to this video. I'm not listening at all because I'm just reading chat. People put too much on 14 about their story and shitting on other games about how they tell it. They're an RPG company at heart. Telling a story in games is what they do. There's absolutely no way you can make a one-to-one comparison on storytelling and presentation between them and WoW or say that they 100% copied them because, and this may be biased, there's not many AAA games that can tell a story like FF games can. However, I will also say that the single-player experience for 14 is several hundred hours. So, fundamentally, it's not the same at all. It's really not the same.
Impacts development for the team.
We've been evolving in order to serve the players in this way. So it's a journey that we're on. War Within has been in development for some time. We're also already working on the next one on Midnight. And we've grown our team to support it. And not only that, we're building the foundation of how to work with 2 expansions being created at the same time. And at the same time, we also created a live team. And that live team is filling the world in our 8-week patch cadence with the content in between that is sort of the novelty and the whimsy and the lightness of WoW that the audiences that, the expansion teams will continue to focus on, our seasons, etc. And they're filling in our holidays and turbulent time ways.
Some of the class mounts are sick in WoW. True.
More activities for players to do so that we're crossing all of the different ways people play.
WoW cannot, WoW could replicate some of the narrative, I don't really think that there's a purpose. It's too late for that. The thing that separates 14's story from WoW so significantly is the centralization of the player character. It's just too late for that in World of Warcraft, in my opinion. It's just it's too late. Hey, your character it's not built the way that 14 is from the very first time you start playing. So it's just, you cannot expect them to pull off the same thing. In my opinion, the main character of WoW has been Azeroth. I would agree with that. I totally agree with that. You just have to accept that you're going to tell a story differently because of the structure of the game, right? And WoW would not be able to tell a story like 14 without having to structure the game differently. And if that structure isn't what suits the people who play WoW, then why would you do it? So
we're building this foundation for how we can...
Not that it's not in some ways better for some people or whatever. That's not what's being said. It's just doesn't always fit what you're trying to do.
Have this, basically a staggered approach. Although teams are going to be helping each other along the way, because there are moments.
Is it weird
where
to say that WoW looks super pretty and unique? No. You want to know why? Part of the reason WoW looks like that is because all the textures in this game are like hand painted. So these textures up here, someone painted this on a digital art program. They painted all this, all the shading, the highlights. This is all hand painted texture. This is not like procedurally generated with patterns and stuff. It can repeat patterns when they make it that way, but everything from wood to stone to weapons to armor,
the development on
all of it is like hand drawn.
WoW is very fluid and it moves back and forth, but we have a lot of really incredible resources now focused on
Pretty amazing.
really advanced our production methodology
amazing,
as
yeah,
well. And so we're going through
Our
this
team
learning
is
phase of figuring out
just-
how to do all this at the same time, because we're absolutely committed to it.
I
think also when they tie narrative experiences together and they know what's going to be coming, if you get someone, I don't know, if you get someone who's like working on, buildings for the War Within, and they know narratively that there's going to be some cohesion heading into, midnight, like in the event that person, finishes what they're doing, like they could maybe start working on the next thing, like, and they have that knowledge, they have that continuity to be able to say, like, I know where this is going to go. And so I don't know, I could imagine that would give you so much more confidence to build out a world and to say, this is how our world is going to like, these are our buildings for the next 3 expansions, and like this art style they tie together, and this exists here for this reason and here for this reason. Like, I just think being able to like segment it like that and identify where things are going and why, and how one art style might inspire the next, I think this sounds like a really, really great change for their development team. So that's cool.
Yeah, even just planning 3 expansions gives us a North Star for the whole team. We know what's going to be in all of these. And, in doing that, we're able to do more things in parallel than we have in
Pre-watched? What the fuck?
the past, before some things necessarily had to happen sequentially. So yeah, we've already begun concept development for Midnight and Last Titan. We know what the look of some of these things are. We have a setting for all of them. We know what races we want to introduce there. We know what heroes we want to bring in. We have heard from our
Thank
players.
God. Thank you. No more random shuffling of the hero characters, please. Like, if Jaina is relevant in BFA, why is she irrelevant in Shadowlands? Like, not that she is, but I'm just saying, like, let's keep our characters relevant and not be switching them out like spark plugs in a car. Like, let's not do that.
Bring back some of our favorite heroes. So
Don't say any names.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Illidan, my boy! She calleth you home!
Come on. They saw Thrall in the cinematic, and so they know Thrall's there.
Okay, never mind.
And we happen to have, a voice actor that's available to do Thrall.
Right,
So
yeah.
that's good.
I wonder who that would be.
He does Thrall.
It's Metzin, yeah.
She says it's Metzin. For anyone who doesn't know, it's Metzin. Holly's pretty cool. Yeah, she seems fun. Illidan's busy being a jailer for Sargeras. Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, Illidan really having to jail Sargeras. Yeah, you think Illidan needs to be the jailer? Motherfucker sat up there locked to a fucking seat with 6 other jailers, dog. Illidan isn't fucking needed for shit.
There's so many questions, and I'm
Illidan is needed for Sargeras to imbibe in him his own power, so that Illidan can get the fuck off the seat of the Pantheon, hopefully evade eternal damnation or fucking absolute destruction at the hand of the Titans, and hopefully come back in time to fucking let us know that they're coming for that ass.
Can't get into all of them, obviously, because of spoilers. But are these expansions expected to be shorter than?
Here we go.
normal
This one's really important. This is like a huge thing. I don't know what they're gonna answer to this. I think I know, but this has been like one of the biggest discussions. Is like, how long are these gonna? What does this look like as far as time?
expansions, or what's the deal there?
I mean, in essence, doing them faster, you would imagine that's part of it, but the content will not be less. That's part of this journey we're going on where we have this live team. So we will
Really?
have the expansion teams fully focused on expansion content that will come out in our patches, and we're staying committed to this 8-week cadence with our content. And then within that, because we're really focused on delivering what you expect in an expansion, that will continue. But between those expansions is where we're going to be looking to get pretty creative. We're not ready to talk about future features yet, but we're going to be doing some significant things in the future. So expansions at their foundation, it's always going to be landscape to explore and quests and raids and dungeons.
Interesting. So is that suggesting that patch content will be different? That the base expansion is not going to be any smaller, but that patch content will be different?
Like you would expect. How we evolve
Shorter?
this story and tell this tale in between is probably going to evolve.
Because she said the amount of content will stay the same, which is fascinating to hear.
We're taking some risks, we're experimenting, and we're planning for, some really cool features in the
She's
future.
talking about the patches between raids, I think. I would assume we're getting a 1.2 from now on, no more 0.3.
Too. So I'm pretty sure players will be pretty pleased with what we come up with.
No, at the end of expansion, it's going to be Season of Discovery of Mad Mechanics. Yeah, but that doesn't really answer the question. She's talking about content between X-Packs. Guys, I understand that. You also understand, though, that content between X-Packs determines when the next X-Pack comes out as well, right? That's why I'm asking, like, if the content of the expansion is not less, but this whole saga itself is shorter, then I think that suggests that between expansions, there will be less. Am I misinterpreting that? I think she's talking about patch cadence. Well, she's saying they're staying with the same cadence. That's what she just said. She said they're staying with the same 8-week cadence. Guys, I'm just trying to figure out if they're not changing the cadence and they're not cutting content, how is it going to be quicker? That's the question. Can any of you answer that? I don't think we can yet because she hasn't answered it. Like, I think that's what she's alluding to is like, what does that mean? Will they cut the 0.3 patch? That's what Jay just said. So yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, our expansion releases in the past were very much predicated on how quickly we could get them done.
Same, Cayman. I'm not mad if we can get rid of the fucking 8 to 10 months of content drought after the final patch.
Now, over the course of, doing 20 years worth of expansions, we know pretty much.
Oh, I think I get what you're saying. I think I understand what you're saying. I think it just clicked with me. The distinction that you're trying to make is not okay. I'm in my brain. I'm so Final Fantasy 14 brained. I'm so sorry, chat. I'm so sorry. I'm like so FF brained right now. In my brain, I'm thinking everything that you would normally get in patch content in World of Warcraft, you get all of that in, well, not all of it necessarily because the raids are different, they're structured different, but like the main story that culminates in the final patch of a WoW expansion, you get that in the 0.0 of Final Fantasy. And then, so what's up, Nerlon? So then the patch content that comes after, like, it's still part of the expansion, but it's not what I consider to be like the core expansion storyline. And so I guess in my mind, I was thinking like after 11.0, that stuff, I was considering that like the downtime between the expansion instead of remembering that patch content in WoW is still part of the main story, that it doesn't like end in the base game. So I have to like remember that when I'm thinking about this. And I think what you guys are saying is that after the final patch, it's not the cadence of the patches, it's not the content in the patches, it's the after the final patch, the amount of time before the next expansion launches is what you guys are talking about them speeding up. Therefore, cadence does not change, content amount does not change, just the difference in time between expansion launch and expansion end and expansion launch. Okay. I love being able to work through my thoughts. Thanks, chat.
How long it takes to do the brainstorming, how long it takes to do the world building, And then most importantly, how long it takes to be in public test, so that we can really tune it.
Your brain is so big, it's really not. It's really not. It's average size.
More things can happen in parallel, but what's different now is
The lull period, yeah.
Because we have great processes, we've got a bigger team. We're able to put out content when our players want it, not just when we're ready to release it. So we can still hit that quality bar, but we can deliver it as players are ready to consume it. And the cool thing about being in an MMO is we get a lot of data. We know when players are, okay, they're done. They want something new to do here. Or, you know what, they're still in there having a good time. We don't need to.
Bro, you just explained string theory. I'm like, yeah, short equals short. Yeah.
I know the many Blizzard teams, talk about how they work independent of one another, but it really did strike me, you announced 3 expansions. The Overwatch 2 team announced not just one hero, but the next 2 heroes. Diablo.
Look at how happy she is, dude. Is it really that much of a was Activision really that fucking bad, dude? Like, I know that it's the thing of oh, it's Activision. Like, we always want to blame it on them. I don't think I understood. Like, the way that these people seem so much happier. I can't fathom it. Like, I knew it was bad, man, but I did not understand. Really, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. And this is one of those things that I said, dude, between Metson's energy, Ian's energy, Holly, John to an extent, they all seem so much fucking happier, dude. Good for them. Mikey Barr mentioned he felt relieved without having to report everything up the chain. Yeah, they could actually make executive decisions about their games without having to please shareholders and Bobby Fuckface Cuntick. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, man. I think inside I always had a little bit of resentment. Nah, it's them. It's their fault. They don't care enough. And I don't think that's fair, man. And I feel that's what I said yesterday about Steve Denuser. I don't think that's a fair shake, dude. It's just not. It's just not. It just can't be. It just can't be true. If that were the case, why would they be there? So I don't know. I think it's cool that they're finally maybe getting to come out of their fucking shell and be, do what they've always wanted to do. I think that's amazing. And I hope that this impression that's being given that's kind of the case, I hope that's true. I hope it's true for our sake and for these people.
Or now teased their next expansion, even though the game's only been 6 months in. Is this as developers of live games, is this radical transparency just something that the company just saw together as the way forward?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we exist because of the communities we have, and our fans are so dedicated, as you've probably seen here at BlizzCon. They just want information. They just want to know.
Is radio transparency a decision the company wanted to go with? They're never going to say no to that? I don't know about that, actually. I could be making this up in my head, but I think there have been situations in the past where transparency has come up and they have spoken about how they're as transparent as they can be. We come through, I don't know. I think that was a very quick, direct answer. I don't feel like they typically answer that in this way. You think so? I feel like they'd be roasted by the players. They have been. they have been. I mean, they did. I mean, yeah, the devs have been roasted. I mean, more than marshmallows. I mean, it's
doing and what's coming. And part of that was a bit of an experiment, for us putting out the roadmap so far ahead. And players get excited by it instead of, waiting.
I'm doing the BFA story to level, and I've got Anduin and Turalian sat on the throne together. Oh my god. That's awkward.
For the next drop, which, we're experimenting, and it seems to be working as far as that goes. But I do think Blizzard overall... and
Take my Twitch Prime. No, Nathan!
At the end of the day, we exist because of the communities we have. And
Same.
Our fans are so dedicated, as you've probably seen here at BlizzCon. They just want information. They just want to know what we're doing and what's coming. And part of that was a bit of an experiment, for us putting out the roadmap so far ahead. and players get excited by it instead of, waiting for the next drop, which, we're experimenting, and it seems to be working as far as that goes.
Thanks,
I do
Matt.
think
Thank
Blizzard
you.
overall, and certainly our team, we appreciate.
You can get to the
being
sub even when you're not in the stream. Yes.
As you've mentioned, the 20th anniversary of WoW is coming up. Just big milestone for Warcraft. Just in terms of the future of the Warcraft series, there's so many things now with streaming and theaters are back. Are we going to see Warcraft expand out into multimedia, into shows, into movies again? It's been 2016 since the movie came out.
Yeah, don't
But it's a
ask
great
me,
movie,
ask this guy.
I thought it was
that
a pretty
was
great.
one of the big reasons.
I think the Warcraft movie is a great movie for what they're trying to portray in like the limited medium of a movie. I think they did a good job. I like the Warcraft movie a lot, and the CGI was fucking great.
Reasons that we've somewhat reorganized.
Like when Gul'dan steals all the souls of the Draenei that are like in the cages along the dark portal. That is like, dude, that's so metal. That's so metal. It's so fucking sick to see it like on that scale. It's like, oh my god, like it's pretty sick.
Organized as a Warcraft universe. So Holly's part of the leadership team for that. So not just overseeing WoW, that's her her baby, but also contributes to some of the strategic decisions that we have.
I also thought that Khadgar using incantations of light was super interesting because that doesn't happen in canon, but in the movie it does, where like Khadgar is fighting against Medivh possessed by Sargeras with like light. And I think that's, or no, was it Medivh that was cast? He had like, what was it? Medivh was doing something in that movie like hints at like light, and I can't remember what it is.
Around where do we want to go
Fuck,
next?
I can't remember.
And we have a full green light process for.
I think it's like Medivh is like in Karazhan and he's like chanting a spell, and I want to say it's like doing a light spell or something, and then Khadgar catches him, or I can't remember. Fuck.
For Warcraft.
I own it, so I should just watch it again.
Pitch ideas from across the team. We also have things that we'd like to do.
This might be something you want to listen to in whole, Pyro. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the start of the question. I'm sorry.
Future of the Warcraft series, there's so many things now with
I
streaming.
remember that quote,
and,
Beth.
and
Yeah, maybe it was
theaters
that.
are back. Are we going to see Warcraft expand out into multimedia, into shows, into movies again? It's been 2016 since the movie came out.
Yeah, don't
But it's a
ask
great
me,
movie,
ask this guy.
that was one of the big reasons that we've somewhat reorganized as a Warcraft universe. So Holly's part of the leadership team for that. So not just overseeing WoW, that's her.
Khadgar has a level up animation with a light effect when he neutralizes the Felon Medivh. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was that like light going over him that I'm thinking of. It's probably that.
Her baby, but also contributes to some of the strategic decisions that we have around where do we want to go next. And we have a full green light process for Warcraft. We take pitch ideas from across the team. We also have things that we'd like to do. Everything begins with somebody's passion around, I would like to go chase this, or I believe in this. And then we see, okay, how does that enhance Warcraft? How does that work for Warcraft? Does it make sense for us to make a game in this genre for players that play other Warcraft games? Like WoW, and we were like you saw with Rumble. If you played Rumble, we were very sensitive to the fact that a lot of people that would be checking it out have experienced Warcraft through the RTS, through WoW, through Hearthstone.
Oh, so they have. Oh, I see. These are Warcraft soldier units, aren't they? I didn't even realize until just now. These are the base soldier units, aren't they? That's fucking. I didn't even realize. For night elves, orcs, and humans. Wow.
We're consistent with that universe. That's a big reason why, Chris is back. We wanted him to, be kind of the arbiter of this is in, this is out. Plus, he's the only person that can pronounce some of those names. But no, seriously, we are going to we start with games. We are going to expand.
Many whelps!
Our main purpose this year has been about
Sorry, I get distracted from pretty visuals and I didn't hear anything John said once they put that on the screen.
In this genre, for players that play other Warcraft games, like WoW, and we were like you saw with Rumble. If you played Rumble, we were very sensitive to the fact that a lot of people that would be checking it out have experienced Warcraft through the RTS, through WoW.
No spoilers
through
about the Emerald
Hearthstone.
Dream, please.
And that we're consistent with that universe. That's a big reason why, Chris is back. We wanted him to, be kind of the arbiter of this is in, this is out. Plus, he's the only person that can pronounce some of those names. But no, seriously, we are going to we start with games. We are going to expand beyond that. Our main purpose this year has been about, hey, let's get all this aligned. I mean, everything that you just saw yesterday, this is the efforts of, starting in January, like how do we make all of this come together? How do we make this big moment? How do we signal to the world that, Warcraft is a universe, 240 million strong, and we're going to grow from there. And we are going to branch into other things. But first, we wanted to have people start seeing this as not just a single game, but really a plan for the future. And when I said 3 decades, I'm not kidding. We all see this as caretakers for this universe. This is, not only your childhood, my late teenhood, and but it's going to be for your kids, and maybe for my granddaughter. And I hope, and we're going to be telling the stories that we're going to be reading to kids at night, or they're going to be streaming at night while we're asleep. But this is going to be part of the culture, and it's our goal to have this extend beyond us. And we're going to hand the baton to the next group of innovators and super creative people working on platforms that haven't even been imagined yet doing Warcraft.
Right. Something that Aaron said on stage that struck out to me is, he said there's a new clarity of vision that he didn't have before. Is it fair to say that this is, a Blizzard reboot now, or in the process of one?
I think so. I mean, I think we have moved, at least for us, I think we've moved from being very product-centric, where we think of this game, to being very player-centric. It's like, what do our players want? What are the genres that are cool to them? What are the platforms that are cool to them? How do they want to interact with each other? Because we make social games. I mean...
And you know what happens when you do all of those things? You make a metric fuck ton of money. A metric fuck ton. When you just do the thing that you love and that you want to do, you make more money. Whoa! If it's fake and you're pushing artificial shit, unfinished products, you're pushing a product, not a fucking experience. Yeah, I mean, you will literally see better profits by actually doing a good job. How do megacorps not fucking understand that? I fucking hate corporations, bro. To a degree.
Everything in WoW, we talk about this all the time, is how is this actually more social? It's one of our platforms. Does this feature make it more social, more fun to be together, or not? And that's how we distinguish ourselves.
Well, John, Holly, thank you so much for your time and for everything.
That was a good interview. Sorry that I fucking
keep it here on IGN.
Interrupted and talked over it so gosh darn much. So sorry about that. That's a good one. I liked that.